We start today with disastrous polling for President Joe Biden. The headline: Trump leading Biden by almost 10 points in a hypothetical rematch in 2024 of the 2020 election. Indeed, ABC News poll has it 51 for Trump, 42 for Biden, a 9-point lead in a hypothetical head-to-head matchup. It is now time to panic for like a second, and then we're going to interject some sanity here. It is absolutely true that this poll doesn't look good for Joe Biden. And if it were time to panic, and if panicking were useful, I would just do a full show saying, here are 100 different ways we can panic. Let's start punching ourselves in the face and throwing our phones out of windows. But we don't have to do that, fortunately. Hold on to your phone. Don't punch yourself in the face. Don't flip your car over in an incredible act of frustration and strength, because there are some serious problems with this poll. This poll is an outlier. It is early, and so many other elements of this to discuss. So let's now talk a little more seriously about this poll. The poll is 51 for Trump and 42 for Biden. That's 93 total. That means that there is still a full 7% of the electorate missing from this poll, either because as of today, they don't know who they would support. They're not planning on voting, or they're supporting a third party candidate and may change their minds between now and November of 2024. Not a single primary vote has yet been cast. So are these numbers good for Biden? No. Are these numbers devastating in that they represent the full informed final decisions of the eventual November 2024 electorate? No, they are not. But this is maybe the most important part of this entire thing. This poll seems completely implausible. It's an outlier, yes, and we'll look at that in a moment. But applying just any simple common sense to this poll shows us something seems wrong with this poll. Now, I know that people are going to come after me from the right and say, David, you don't like the poll, so you think that it's wrong. I really don't care about the poll one way or the other. I believe that the poll is one data point 14 months before an election. So this poll could have it 100 to 0, and I would say, sounds implausible. I don't know how much stock I'd put into it. I'd look at an average and remember that it's very early. But let me give you some examples. This poll has Trump winning with young voters by nearly 20 points. It has Biden winning with minority voters by only 9 points. These are completely implausible polling numbers unless you believe that the entire fabric of the American electorate has had dramatic changes in the last 2 years, which I struggle to believe right now. Now, could it be that indeed young voters are flocking to the Republican Party, that minority voters are flocking to the Republican Party? Sure, it could be, but it's completely incongruous with everything else we know about the American voting public. I would bet, and I am not a betting person, I would bet that Trump is not really leading young people by close to 20 points. It would be a bet of mine. It's there's another aspect of this that we need to remember. It's not even really that plausible that Biden will lose the popular vote. What I mean by that is Republicans in recent American history tend to become president by losing the popular vote and winning the Electoral College. Sometimes they lose the popular vote by a little. Sometimes they lose the popular vote by a lot. And so it still seems to me that even if Donald Trump were to win the Electoral College in November of 2024, he would probably lose the popular vote. So when I see Trump leads Biden by 9, almost 10 points, and I see no other poll saying that, to me, it seems like it's probably not a great poll. We don't ignore it. We just include it by averaging into other polling that we have. Just some other examples here. There's an ABC. So you have here the poll we're talking about, ABC News, Washington Post, which has Trump plus 10 among registered voters and Trump plus 9 among all adults. But then we look at some other polls. We've got a WPA intelligence poll, basically just as new, and it has Biden leading Trump by 2. We then have an Emerson College general election poll, which has Trump leading by 1. That's a much tighter race. You then have the YouGov polling, which has it actually tied, which we talked about last week. So I'm not saying ignore the poll. I'm saying pass it through a common sense check, a gut check, a sanity check. The idea that Trump is surging with young voters and minorities seems a little difficult to believe. And then simply average it into the other polls, and you very quickly see that this is indeed an outlier. Let's now that we've done a serious sort of think through of the poll, let's go to the next step, which is, could Trump be winning for real? The answer is yes. Do we all, regardless of what state we live in, need to make damn sure that if advanced registration is required in your state, that you're registered, that you know where you have to vote in 14 months? Of course, all of those things. Not a single one of us should stay home because we think it's unlikely that Donald Trump will win. We know what happens when voters do that, and we're going to be doing the full get out the vote routine that we did in 2020, obviously. When I say the poll seems like an outlier, it doesn't mean you can stay home. It means the poll is an outlier as of today, and we know any damn thing can happen over the next 14 months. So that's the ABC poll. If you want to tell yourself that's the only poll we can trust and believe that Trump is really up 10, and you're thrilled about that, well, maybe you'll stay home in November of 2024 since you're so confident that Donald Trump is going to crush Joe Biden. Remember, it's an electoral college election. The popular vote is an indicator of how that might go. But we have an electoral college election, and that's the way we're going to be looking at the race. Once we get beyond the primaries, we are nowhere near there yet. We don't have a single primary vote. All right, so I'll tell you when it's time to panic. I even remember those of you who were with me on the live stream on election night in November of 2020. People kept asking me in the chat, is it now time to panic? And I kept insisting, I'll let you know when it's time to panic. And even at the end of the night, I said, it is not yet time to panic. Let's see what things look like in the morning. And panicking would not have made sense. Vote rather than panic. That's the important thing. People in my audience trying to quit smoking or vaping, this is for you. You can't vape or smoke inside. You're tired of people seeing you put those little pouches in your lip. There is a nicotine alternative that people won't notice to help you quit. Zippix nicotine toothpicks. Our sponsor Zippix makes the only nicotine toothpick on the planet that is FDA registered. You can use it anywhere, work, restaurants, airplanes, sporting events, after a meal. The toothpicks stay in a convenient little tube that goes in your pocket or on your keychain. It's way more convenient than carrying around a huge can of pouches all day or a whole bunch of gum or whatever the case may be. Zippix nicotine toothpicks come in flavors like peppermint watermelon, sweet wood, cinnamon, whiskey. If you're not a nicotine user, try out their B12 toothpicks with caffeine instead, a quick and easy alternative to coffee. Do your lungs a favor, cut the cigarette smoke, cut the vape juice. Quitting has never been easier with Zippix nicotine toothpicks. Go to zippix.com, get 10% off with the code PACMAN10 at checkout. The link is down below.